In today's video, we're going to be reviewing Taylor Swift's The Life of a Showgirl and discussing the beef with Charli XCX, is Taylor finally defending Blake Lively, and is the album deserving of the critical acclaim it's receiving in the media? Hi guys, my name is Marissa and I am an English teacher. I love to read and I have been listening to Taylor Swift since I was 7 years old. I've listened to every single one of her albums and I'm hoping that my credentials as an English teacher and as a reader can give a fresh perspective to Taylor Swift's lyricism in this album. So first I'm going to be breaking down song by song, any controversy associated with the song, any tea if you will, and also I'm going to try to keep it brief, but I will tell you my favorite line and the overall theme of the song. Also, at the end of this video, I'll be giving you my overall thoughts of the album and my rating. But for now, let's go ahead and get into the first song because I have a lot of notes. I am an English teacher after all, so like I said, let's get into it. So the first track on the album is The Fate of Ophelia. So first I want to talk about the actual fate of Ophelia in Shakespeare's Hamlet. So in Hamlet, the character Ophelia is an eldest daughter of this prominent nobleman in society, and Ophelia has a gradual descent into madness because of a mix of family pressures and also a chaotic, semi-toxic relationship with Hamlet, who is also driven to madness and is mentally unstable. Ophelia's father pressures her to essentially snub Hamlet, and she's caught between her family and the man that she loves. The symbolism of the fate of Ophelia, how it relates to Taylor, is that Taylor's fans have always been very vocal about her relationship choices, as has the media as a whole. And I think that the pressure that Ophelia's father is imposing on her symbolizes Taylor's fans always weighing in on her relationship choices, specifically when she chose to date Maddie Healy. After listening to the Tortured Poets department, it's obvious that Taylor has definitely felt the weight of her fans' opinions, and also while she's filtering through all of these opinions, she's navigating these complicated relationships just like any human being. So no wonder she may have felt like she was descending into madness just like Ophelia. Near the end of the play Hamlet, Ophelia drowns in a brook. It's left open-ended. It is ambiguous whether she intended to die or not. But regardless, it's obvious that she descended into madness and then she drowned. Now, in the beginning of this song, Taylor mentions a pyro, which is a fire setter or someone who has an inclination to set fires. And it's obvious that this is meant to represent Travis. Taylor and Travis's love in this song is represented by fire. I think that this is an interesting contrast between drowning and fire, because Ophelia's fate was drowning and the love that Taylor's experiencing is talked about as like a burning fire. I think that is clear through the song that she's finally getting her happy ending, and that makes me really happy. My favorite line in this song is "Don't care where the hell you've been, 'cause now you're mine." I like this line because when you're famous, your past is never erased, and the media will always try to find something to cancel you or make you appear problematic. And so I like that she's kind of like, you can say whatever you want about my man, I don't care, because that's in the past and he's mine now. I think that the theme of this song is that true love can be very healing, and also that a happy ending can come when you least expect it. This song is the obvious radio hit from the album, and I think that it also sets up this theme that is threaded throughout the whole album of the eldest daughter syndrome. The second track on the album is Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor was renowned for many reasons, one of them being her long list of lovers. And as we know, the media loves to keep track of how many men Taylor has dated, and spectators always have something to say about it. I think the line, "Elizabeth Taylor, do you think it's forever?" symbolizes that the media and the public will always have something to say to Taylor and anyone that's famous about their relationship. So my favorite line from this song is, "I've been number one, but I never had two." And I think that that most likely is meaning that, of course, Taylor has had the fame, she's had the popularity, she's been on top, she's still on top, but she may have never felt like she's had a true partner or confidant or equal, and she's finally found that. I love the jazz feel to this song and also the storytelling element. It reminds me a lot of Clairbout and also Reincarnated by Kendrick Lamar, which may seem a little bit random, but both of those songs tell a really interesting story and also allude to famous people that have come before them and draw parallels between them and the people before them in their field. I think that the theme of this song is security over fame. The third track is called Opalite, and there is a ton of symbolism associated with this song. So opal is the October birthstone, and we know that it's Travis's birthstone. Opal is often blue, pink, or white, and when it's set against a light background, it can have an orange glow. I think that is probably part of the inspiration behind the aesthetics of the album being orange and a bluish green color. This song just feels like sunshine to me, which brings me to my favorite line. You had to make your own sunshine, but now the sky is opalite. When I first heard this song, I felt like doing the little Showgirl step kick dance routine. I'm not sure what it's called, but that's just what this song feels like to me. I think the overall theme of this song is that it may take a lot of bad or failed relationships to find the right one. Next, we have Father Figure. I love this song and I think it is so hilarious. Well, actually, do I think it's hilarious? It's kind of sad when you think about it. So this song is a reimagined version of George Michael's song Father Figure. There are a bunch of interpretations to the song, and I think there's one that sticks out more than the others. The first one could be that Taylor is positing herself as a father figure to all of these younger artists who are coming after her, such as Olivia Rodrigo, Gracie Abrams, Sabrina Carpenter. The second interpretation is that she's celebrating her victory of owning her masters now, and I think that this one is also likely. The most likely interpretation that I found after listening to the song multiple times is that the song symbolizes the way that Taylor was treated with the situation with Big Machine Records, Scooter Braun, and all the other players involved in that. The reason that I think that is that there are several lines that point to this interpretation, such as they want to see you rise, they don't want to see you reign. Also, all I ask for is your loyalty, my dear protege. Pretty much all of the lines, and it comes to a climax at the end of the song. I think that my favorite line has got to be "This love is pure profit," because I think it encapsulates the meaning of the song so well if we are going with that interpretation. Big Machine Records and the people that work there might have been making it seem like they truly cared about Taylor and her art and were kind of like dangling the masters in front of her like a carrot, but they actually just wanted a profit out of her. They didn't love her. But I digress. Overall, I think the theme of this song is exploitation and also power dynamics. Now we're on to track 5. So Taylor has a history of making track 5 be an emotional song, and this one was no different. And I just picture fans at a concert just waving their phone flashlights to this song. I think that this is the ballad of the girl next door type. It harkens back to she wears short skirts, I wear t-shirts, she's cheer captain, and I'm on the bleachers. I also think this song breaks the fourth wall of the internet because these days on social media, everyone probably feels pressure to be perfect and also just to give in to cancel culture and being savage, as she says, or putting off this successful persona when really Taylor's just saying, hey, I'm just normal. Even her tone of voice in this song really calls to mind childhood innocence, or just reminds me of young Taylor being naive coming into the music industry for the first time. I think if we could, any one of us would just take back that sense of childlike wonder that we once had. And anyone that's felt like they didn't fit in, especially in the day of social media, can definitely relate to this song. I have a few favorite lines of this song that go together, because I thought that I'd never find that beautiful, beautiful life that shimmers that beautiful light back like when we were young. So I think that the theme of this song is yearning for a simple life and wanting to get back that childhood innocence and naivete. Track 6 is Ruin the Friendship, and I don't have a ton to say about this song, but it's most likely about Taylor's friend that passed away in 2010 named Jeff Lang. I think it's obvious that she is singing about him and their past relationship because of the references to her hometown in her childhood and to her childhood best friend Abigail, and also just how she talks about going to his funeral. My favorite line from this song is, "My advice is always to ruin the friendship. Better that than to regret it for all time." This song, even though sonically, in my opinion, it's a bit upbeat, I think that it is a very deep and emotional song given the context, and I think obviously she's singing about having regrets. So the theme of this song to me is to seize the moment because life's short. I need a little sip before we get into this next one. The next song is actually romantic, and this song is rumored to be about Charli XCX for multiple reasons. So Charli XCX is married to George Daniel, who is the drummer for the band The 1975. Charlie also wrote a song that's on her album Brat titled Sympathy is a Knife, and it's rumored to be about Taylor. In the song, she talks about feeling insecure about a woman that is backstage at her boyfriend's shows and how she doesn't want to see the woman's face there anymore. There's one especially cutting line that says, "Fingers crossed behind my back, I hope they break up quick." So we've already established that Taylor had a relationship with Maddie Healy, who is the singer for the band the 1975. Another clue that we have is that there's a song on Brat called Everything is Romantic. So the title Actually Romantic could be a clapback. Aside from that controversy, I really like the early 2000s rock pop vibe of this song. And I think my favorite line has to be, "How many times has your boyfriend said, why are we always talking about her?" I just find that line to be so funny and to be a sick burn, if you will. I think that the themes of this song are there's a thin line between hate and love, and also there's a theme of jealousy. I think that Taylor is clearly suggesting that the subject of the song is in love with her or obsessed with her due to the amount of times that she talks about her, comments on her, and so that's why I think it's funny to think about her boyfriend, whoever this elusive subject might be, asking, why are we always talking about Taylor? But also, don't we all always talk about Taylor? Now to my favorite song of the album. I think that Wishlist is such a fun and sweet song because I feel like Taylor is validating everyone's different dreams and desires, and it's really just like you do you, boo. This song to me is a cry for just let me be normal. And also I think she's admonishing everybody to just stay in their own lane. My favorite line has to be, "We tell the world to leave us the F alone, and they do." Wow. Because now that Taylor and Travis are engaged, it's obvious that they're just in love and they want to be left alone. And I also love the line, "Boss up, settle down." And that's the theme. Next we have Wood, and I really like this song because I feel like it's for all the superstitious OCD girlies like myself. I also think that this song comments on all of the cliches and mysticism around falling in love, and everyone always has a piece of advice to give single people and people looking for relationships, such as when you know, or it will come when you least expect it. And there are also a bunch of superstitions around it, obviously, like if you catch the bouquet. But I think this song just pokes fun at those notions. For example, once you stop looking for a relationship, you'll find it. I think things like that put people in boxes and make them feel like they have to do everything right to find the right relationship, and that's just simply not true. Throughout this song, Taylor obviously threads a sexual innuendo about Wood. Lines such as, "Girls, I don't need to catch the bouquet to know a hard rock is on the way." Also, "The curse on me was broken by your magic wand." I think my favorite line has to be, "Seems to me that you and me, we make our own luck. New heights of manhood." I just think it's so cute that she mentioned new heights. Something I also found interesting was that the intro of this song unmistakably sounds like Jackson 5's I Want You Back. I don't really know the connection between those two, but it's obvious that it sounds like that. The theme of this song to me is taking control for your own life and your relationships, and also just making your own luck. Good thing I like my friends canceled. We're on to Canceled. So I personally think that this song most clearly alludes to Blake Lively's recent controversy with It Ends With Us, and I think a lot of spectators were at the time pointing out how Taylor had never come out and defended Blake Lively even though they are said to be best friends. I think that this is Taylor finally speaking out about that in her own way. There's also a line that says, "Everyone's got bodies in the attic," or "took somebody's man." I think this could be referencing Sabrina Carpenter because some years back she had a controversy where she took Olivia Rodrigo's man, and we know that clearly Taylor and Sabrina are close. I think this song speaks for itself, that Taylor is saying, hey, I've had my fair share of controversy, so I know what it's like and I'm not going to judge you for it. Now that Taylor's made it out of her Reputation era, she knows all too well that things are not always what they seem. As a Christian, I also thought of a verse that this alludes to, Matthew 7:3, which says, "Why do you see the speck that's in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye?" And the messaging behind that is just, don't be hypocritical. It was hard for me to pick one line from the song that fully encapsulates it because there are a bunch of great metaphors here, but I think I'll pick, "They stood by me before my exoneration. They believed I was innocent, so I'm not here for judgment." because that sums up the theme, which I think is who am I to judge? We're down to our last two songs, and Honey is one of my personal favorites. The endearments mentioned in this song have historically been used in a patronizing way, specifically by men towards women. So I love that Taylor is taking the endearment honey and repurposing it and basically saying, you can call me honey and all of these endearments because I know that your intentions with me are pure. I also thought the line was interesting that says, and the bee was telling me to back off because her man had looked at me wrong. I think that this could be a possible shot at Charli XCX given the context of actually romantic. I also think the line, and I cried the whole way home, is an allusion to Dear John and that whole situation. Taylor may have been saying, hey, I can tell you one man who has used these endearments to exploit me, but now I'm in a happy relationship. So this song sonically reminded me of Midnight's, and I don't love Taylor's voice the way that it's been auto-tuned in this song, but it makes sense why it sounds like Midnight's, obviously given the producers that worked on Midnight's with her, because they're the same ones that helped her produce this album. My favorite lines from this song have to be, and when anyone called me lovely, they were finding ways not to praise me, but you say it like you're in awe of me. How precious is that? I think the theme of this song is simply FTP. We're down to the last song on this album, which is The Life of a Showgirl. So I have to say this song sonically reminds me of Cool by the Jonas Brothers. Let me know if you guys picked up on that or not. I think that this song is pretty straightforward in its theme, which is that fame is not all it's cracked up to be. And once you reach a certain level of fame, there's no going back even if you want to. I think my favorite line has to be, wait, the more you play, the more that you pay. Because it's just saying there's a price for fame. I also think it's interesting that she used the word wait before saying that because it's kind of like pause. Make sure this is what you want before you get into it. I think this song also calls back to The Lucky One and Clara Bow due to its storytelling elements and also its commentary on fame. I was a bit confused on the overall message since there was a little bit of discrepancy between some of the lyrics. Near the end of the song, Taylor and Sabrina sing about becoming immortal and people wanting them to die, but they can't now even if they wanted to. And at first I was thinking they were saying, I can't get out of this circus now even though I really want to. But then one of the last lines says, now I know the life of a showgirl and I wouldn't have it any other way. So maybe they're saying that they're okay with it. I mean, they both are still obviously producing music and being active in that sphere, but I just found that interesting. So now I just want to talk about my overall thoughts and rating of this album. I think it's hard to compare Taylor's work because she has such a large discography. It's really hard to compare albums, like I said, because she is a very genre-bending artist. Also, music, just like books and any art, is subjective. So something that I might really not like, someone else could love. And I think that just depends on preference. Now for me, I am a folklore girly. That is my favorite album. So in my opinion, this album does not top Folklore, Evermore, Tortured Poets Department. I'm not saying Tortured Poets Department is folk, but it is one of my favorite albums. When Tortured Poets came out, it immediately flew through the ranks of her albums for me, and this album didn't do that. That being said, I do love the album. I think that the theme of this whole album is just showing obviously hardships, but also that Taylor is really happy right now. And as her lifelong fan, I'm really happy to see that. I also think that I personally can connect to this album a little bit better than Tortured Poets, just considering where I am in life, so I really enjoy that. But to answer the question, do I think that the acclaim this album is getting is warranted? Yes, I do. Is it my favorite album? No, but I do enjoy it. Now, my husband challenged me to rate this as if I were rating a book, since this is Reading with Rissa after all. So out of 5 stars, I'm going to be giving this album a 4 star. Now that might change the more that I listen to this album, because as this video is being recorded, I just listened to the album yesterday, so there hasn't been a lot of time to let it set in yet. But right now I'm giving it a 4 because I do like it, but it's not like top tier for me. Like all of Taylor's other albums, she still remains my favorite artist just because of the way that she uses figurative language, symbolism, allusions to get her point across. Her poeticism is unmatched in my eyes, so of course I love anything she puts out. But I am really interested to hear what you guys thought about the album. Did it jump the ranks of her discography for you, or did it fall a little bit short? I'm just curious. So let me know your thoughts down below, and as always, if you could give this video a like, a comment, and subscribe to my channel, I'd be really thankful. So bye guys!